Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the day 4 of this Python Bootcamp. So, how are you doing, guys? First, let us have a quick recap on this day 3, and then we'll move to day 4. Before that, let me ask you a few questions regarding day 3 concepts. So, what is a function? Am I audible? Someone of you respond in the chat box. Am I audible? And is my screen visible? So, please type your answer in the chat box. What is a function? Yes, exactly, Pavni. So if this particular function is not returning anything, then what will the function return? Yes, that is none. So let us start the recap. So what is a function? It is, it is a method and it is used to specify a particular task, right? And it is used to return the output. So just look at the syntax of this, how to create a function by writing the def keyword, right? What will be the syntax? Def followed by the function name along with the arguments, which are represented in parentheses. And the indentation is very important, and you'll be entering the body of that particular function. And function is the only thing, like it runs only when it is called, right? So how do you call a particular function? What will be the syntax? Function name followed by the arguments. Then what are return statements? So it is used to perform some calculation, right? So if no return statement is provided, the function returns none. And what are default parameters? Like if you don't want to change that particular value, you'll be writing it by assigning the value, right? So that is nothing but default parameters. You'll be writing that particular value while creating the function itself. You'll assign the value to a variable while creating the function itself in the function definition itself. So coming to the keyword arguments. So what is this? This will just specify the order. So look at the syntax here. We are just specifying the order. Like I want the age first and then followed by name. And if you want to write n number of arguments, so it's not required to write all the variables. I mean all the arguments like a, b, c, d, and so on. So in order to do that, we'll just use asterisk args, right? So in place of arguments, you'll be writing args in order to take n number of arguments as input for your particular function. So coming to lambda function, what is the lambda function? To the square of its. So if you see, I have my numbers, which is in the list data type, and I'll be using higher order function like map here, and my condition is x power 2, that is 2 asterisk. So I hope you're clear. So what is a class? Class is nothing but it is a thing that is used to create objects, right? Or it is a blueprint for creating objects. So what is an object? It is nothing but instance of a class. And what are the two things which we have in objects? So what are the two things that we have in object? I want the answers in chat box. I hope everyone type the answer in the chat box. What are the two things that are important in object? Generally, what is object and what we have discussed about the example like dog, right? In the previous class. If you consider dog as an object, so it will be having properties and behavior. Yes, you're right, Srinivas. So it's both behavior. So what are the physical properties for an object? They are just the properties, right? So yes. So how to define a class? By using the syntax class, class name. And indentation is common. And how to create the objects? Object name is equal to class name followed by the arguments, right? And how to access these attributes and methods? So by using dot notation. So if you see in this particular code, object dot attribute. So object name dot greet. Greet is nothing but method, right? Generally methods and functions are denoted by name followed by parenthesis. If you have any arguments, you'll be writing in that. And you can also modify the object's attributes directly by using this dot notation. I hope you're clear with yesterday's concept. So if there are no doubts with the yesterday's concept, we'll be moving to today's concept. Is everything clear? And apart from this basic concepts, if you want any concepts related to Python, like Python interview questions, practice problems, cheat sheets, detailed notes, and you can get all these concepts only for rupees 99. We have launched an exclusive bundle where you can where you can find all the detailed notes. So please do like, share, and subscribe to Code Sprint so that you'll not miss the interesting content like this. So let us move to today's concept and welcome to day 4 of this Python Bootcamp. So today we'll be discussing about the four main principles of object-oriented programming. So with these four features, we can make our code flexible, extensible, reusable, and readable. That is easy to understand. So what are the four principles of OOPS? What are the four main principles of OOPS? Yes, Srinivas, you're right. Inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, and abstraction. So let us see each one in detail. So what is inheritance? So inheritance is nothing but inheriting all the attributes and behaviors from a parent class. So like how we actually inherit our properties and etc from our ancestors. So similarly, here we'll be inheriting the attributes and behavior from a parent class, a child class. So we are nothing but children, right? So the child class will inherit all the attributes and behaviors from the parent class, and this concept is known as inheritance. And this is the main principle of OOPS. So it promotes code reuse by creating a hierarchical relationship between classes. So if you see the example, we have class animal. So in this particular class animal, we are writing a function that is speak, and we are writing some print statement. Coming to the class dog, here class dog. So dog is nothing but the child class, and animal is nothing but the base class or the parent class, right? Because we have dog species and animal, right? So class animal will be the base class and dog will be the child class, which is inheriting the properties or attributes or behavior from this class animal, which is parent class, or it is also known as super class. And this dog is known as child class or subclass. So again we are writing something, some function in this dog class, and we are creating an object in order to call these both functions. That's it. I hope you're clear with this inheritance concept. So how to achieve inheritance? By just mentioning the base class, by just mentioning the base class in the bracket after the derived class name. What is this derived class? Is nothing but dog, that is child class. So how to achieve inheritance? By just mentioning the base class in the bracket after the derived class name. This is the main line where you can achieve inheritance here in this particular example. Don't worry about the PPT. We'll be sharing the PPT through WhatsApp. So let me code this. So I'm taking parent class, that is class animal. I'm taking a method that is speak. And I'm just printing some statement. Like animal is speaking. Let me take another class, child class, that is dog. Don't forget to write don't forget the syntax of how to write this class name. So this is the line where inheritance is achieved. So after the derived class, we have to write the base class name, right? So this is how I mean you'll be writing this. So let me take another method like bark. We'll be printing something like dog is barking. Now how to access this particular function by using object. So how to create an object? Object name is equal to class name followed by arguments if there are any. So if you see the speak method, what are the arguments in speak method? So we don't have any arguments, right? Self is not considered as an argument. Self is just used to access, like it allow the class to access all the attributes. So yeah, what is used in order to call this particular function? What notation we use? Object name dot notation followed by the method name, right? So what is the object name here in this particular example? What is the object? What is the object here? I hope my screen is clear, right? So yeah, what is the object in this particular example? It is D. So how to call these both methods using this object name, use this dot notation and just write the method name or the function name. So D dot bark, D dot speak. So observe the output. So I hope you are clear with this particular example. So this is nothing but inheritance concept. So how we are trying to inherit all the attributes and properties from the parent class. Here even the print statement which is there in the parent class is getting printed when we are actually creating the object for child class, right? So this is inheritance concept. So clear with this concept? That we'll be moving to next thing, next principle in OOPS, that is polymorphism. Clear with inheritance? Okay then. So what is the next principle? That is polymorphism. So what is polymorphism? So poly means many and morphism is forms. So many forms. So like what is polymorphism actually is? It allows the objects of different classes to be treated as if they belong a single class. I hope you're clear. It will allow the objects of different classes and it will just try to treat all of them into a common base class. So that is nothing but polymorphism. And how to achieve this polymorphism is by using overloading and overriding concepts. So what is overloading and overriding? Overloading is nothing but this will actually happen in compile time polymorphism, and in overriding this happens only in runtime polymorphism. So this is nothing but overloading and overriding. And what is the main point here in overloading is we'll be having same method name but different signatures. But here in overriding we have same name and same signatures. And in overloading, inheritance is actually not required. But if you see in overriding, inheritance is always required. And in overloading concept, one class is actually enough in order to write the entire code. But here in overriding, more than one class is required. So let me do this code for you in order to understand this polymorphism concept. Just, for every concept, just remember the definition, how can we achieve that, and the example code. So how can we achieve inheritance? By just writing the base class name after the derived class, right? How can we achieve polymorphism? Overloading and overriding. So let me code it. Let me take a parent class, that is class animal, and let me write some method. If you want, you can write any print statement or just write pass. So this is nothing but inheritance, right? I'm showing you the example of overriding. So in overriding, inheritance is required and more than one class is required. Same name, same method name and same signatures, right? So this occurs during runtime polymorphism. So class dog is inheriting the properties of animal. And let me write another method here. Let me write speak, something like, and let return. Now let me take another class, cat. Again, cat is also inheriting the properties from the parent class, that is animal. As it is overriding, I need to write same name and same signature, right? Signature is nothing but arguments. Same name is nothing but speak here. Cat and something like. Now how to access these both classes? By using another function, right? We will just print this. Now what is the main thing after writing all the classes and methods? You have to create an object. So let me create an object like D. And so remember, child class is, you have to create object only in the child class. Because automatically we can inherit the, we can actually inherit the properties from the parent class. So for dog and for cat, because these both are the child classes, right? And how to call this particular function? Animal underscore speak of D. That is the object name. You can even take same name for both the classes, same object name. It's not required here. So observe the output, guys. This is how actually polymorphism works. So this is runtime polymorphism and this concept is overriding. So what are the methods which are same here? Same name and same signature, that is speak, and here it is speak, right? So this is method overriding concept. So how we are printing the return statement from class dog and class cat? By creating an object and calling the function, right? So in order to call the method, we have to actually create a function. I hope you're clear with both these concepts, inheritance and polymorphism. So that I'll be moving to the next principle, that is encapsulation. Any doubts regarding these concepts, inheritance and polymorphism? So inheritance is nothing but inheriting the properties and behavior from parent class, right? And polymorphism is nothing but having many forms. So it will consider all the objects from different classes. It will just consider into a single base class. And how to achieve inheritance? By just writing the parent class name after the derived class in brackets, right? How to achieve polymorphism? By overloading and overriding concepts. What is overloading? Overloading happens when it happens during compile time polymorphism, and overriding happens during runtime polymorphism. And in overloading, we'll be having same method name but different signatures. That is different number of arguments. Coming to overriding, we have same name with same signatures. Yeah, Mohammed, which concept you want me to come again? Is it inheritance or polymorphism? If there are no doubts, I'll be moving to the third principle. Polymorphism. Okay then, fine. So polymorphism is nothing but like poly is many and morphism means forms. So the objects which are there in different classes are treated like as if they are, as if they are in same class. So here in class animal, so this animal will be the parent class, and we have created a child class that is dog. So here in class dog, we are returning some return statement, right? And in class cat, we are returning again the another statement. So these both statements are considered to be in the same common base class, that is animal. So that is how we are returning these both outputs. So if you see the output while calling the function, both the return statements of dog and cat are printed, right? So this is nothing but polymorphism, and it can be achieved by using overriding concept. I hope you're clear, Mohammed. Yes, pass is nothing but like this is executed when nothing happens. Just to avoid getting an error, we'll just write pass. That's it. Like when I don't want to write any code or any statement, any print statement, I'll just write pass. That's it. Yes, Pragna, we cannot do that because we have to use an object there. So here we have to use we have to use some object in order to call this, because they are different classes, right? Or you can also use super function. I'll be telling you that. Don't worry. So after telling about principles, I'll be explaining what is super function, and that will be the last concept for today. Yeah, polymorphism. So polymorphism is nothing but having many forms. So like when we have the methods or when we have the objects in different classes, and I want to print all of them, and polymorphism allows you to treat all these objects like which are there in different classes. It will just allow you to treat them in a single class and you can print them easily. That is polymorphism. It can be achieved by using overriding concept. Overriding is nothing but it happens during runtime polymorphism. So we'll be having same name. So in this example, we have speak here in the dog class, and here we have speak even in the cat class, right? So we'll be having same name and same signature. So when you're trying to call speak, will it return woof or will it return meow? So in order to ignore that confusion, we'll be creating objects and we'll be using these objects in order to call this particular function, that is animal underscore speak. Oops is different from loops. Loops are just the iteration. I mean that those are sub concept. Oops is completely different from loops. Loops are for while, etc. Right? Oops means we have four principles and all. So yeah, let me move to the third principle, that is encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? It is used to restrict the access to methods and variables. So like both this code and data are wrapped together within a single unit. Like how the medicine is wrapped inside a capsule, right? So this is how you got this name encapsulation. So both the data and code are wrapped in a capsule kind of thing, or they are wrapped into a single unit. So what is the main function of this is it is used to restrict the access to methods and variables. It will just restrict the access to methods and variables. So how to achieve encapsulation? So how to restrict the access? By using access specifiers, right? So what are the access specifiers that are used to restrict? They are private and protected, right? So how to achieve encapsulation? By declaring the data members of a class either as private or protected. So how to achieve encapsulation? By declaring the data members of a class either as private or protected. So I hope you're clear what is encapsulation. It is used to restrict the access. How to restrict the access? By using the access modifiers like public, private, protected, right? So what are the access modifiers which are exclusively designed in order to restrict the access? Those are private and protected. So finally, how to achieve this encapsulation? That is by declaring the data members of a class either as private or protected. So, the main thing you have to remember is the definition of this particular concept, how to achieve that, and the coding example. So, how to achieve inheritance? By just writing the base class name in the brackets after the derived class, right? Class dog of animal with indentation followed. How to achieve this polymorphism? By using overriding concept. How to achieve encapsulation? By just declaring the data members of a class either as private or protected. So private, protect, public, these are nothing but the access modifiers as they control or modify the access of variables or methods which you are defining in your class. So I hope you are clear with the theory concept of encapsulation. So let me write a code so that you'll understand the exam. You'll understand the concept of this encapsulation. Let me write a class car. Let me write some method. And don't get confused what is init here. Init is nothing but it's a method that is similar to constructor concept in C++. So it is called every time when an object is created. And it lets the class, like it allow the class to initialize the object's attributes. and it serves no other purpose. That's it. It just allows the class to initialize the object's attributes. So initialize is nothing but init, right? It's just a method which is similar to constructor concept. So self dot, so max speed. So what is this max speed? This is nothing but private variable. So I'm assigning this to some value, private member. So what is encapsulation? It will restrict the access, right? So as you know, these private members are accessible only within the class, right? We cannot access them outside the class because they are private. So I'm writing a private variable here outside the class. So like if you understand this concept, you will understand encapsulation. How to access this private method outside the class? Generally, as you know, private method are accessible only within the class, right? So let me write another method like drive, as it is car. So self, I want to print something like can drive at a max speed. Can drive here at a max speed of, so what is max speed? That is self dot underscore max speed, right? Just printing the I mean here you can drive at a max speed, something like that. Next, moving to another. So how to access this without using, I mean, outside particular private variable outside the class is nothing but encapsulation. So self, I'm just creating another method and I'm just trying to assign my private member to another public member. So by using public function, we can actually access this even outside the class. So how to access the private member outside the class? By creating a public method to access the private variables. Okay. So self dot underscore max speed. So what should I do? I have to assign this particular speed to my private variable, right? So without using my private member, I'll just assign this particular speed to private member so that I'll not disturb this private member, and I'll just print the value of this private member even outside the class. So that is nothing but encapsulation. There's nothing here. So let me take some object. So for I have only one class here, so I'll be just creating object for this class car. If I have both parent class and child class, for which class I have to create an object? Just answer me. If I have class animal and dog, and animal will be the parent class and dog will be the child class, for which class I have to create an object? Yes, Shruti, that is right. So dog, which means for the child class we have to create the object, right? But here I have only one class, that is car, so I'll be creating the object for this. Now how to call this particular drive method? So how to call how to access the drive method? I've already told you how to access the attributes and methods by using dot notation, right? So obj dot drive. Now I want to change my max speed. Actually, I have given 200. Now I want to change it to 300. So how to change that? How to access that particular private member? Object dot. So what is the function that we have used in order to access this particular private member? So how to access the private member outside the class? By using a public function. So what is that function here? That is set underscore max underscore speed. So here you have to give the argument, because we are assigning the speed value to this particular private member, right? So without disturbing the private member, we are just trying to print that by using public function and a public variable, that is speed. So I want to give 300. Now again, how to print this? By using this drive function, right? Object dot drive. That's it. So first, initially my speed was 200 and now it's 300, right? I hope you're clear how to change the speed and how to print this particular private member without disturbing it. So I mean, as you know, we cannot access the private member outside the class because it is private. So how to access that? By using a public function and a public variable. I hope you are clear with this entire encapsulation concept. If this is clear, I'll be moving to this abstraction. That is the last principle. Any doubts regarding these three principles, that is an inheritance, encapsulation, and polymorphism? So if you still have any doubts which were not cleared in this particular session, do reach me through LinkedIn. So this is my profile URL. I'll try to solve your doubts. And do like, share, and subscribe to Code Sprint. Third one in the sense, encapsulation, Vaishnavi. For protected, Shruti, yeah, for protected, you will just use you will just use a single underscore. You have to prefix that variable with single underscore. If it's private, it will be double underscore. Okay, don't get confused with protected and private. If you see double underscore, it is private variable. If you see single underscore, it is protected. These are nothing but the access specifiers or access modifiers because they will be restricting the access of this particular variable. So explain third one, encapsulation. Okay, fine. So encapsulation is nothing but it is used to restrict the access of these methods and variables. Like, how can it do that? Is it will just wrap this entire code and data. Like, it will just wrap this code and data into a single unit. Like how the medicine will be wrapping inside the capsule. So this is nothing but encapsulation. And how to achieve that? By declaring all the data members of a class either as private or protected. You see the code here. I've created a class car, that is the only class here. So class car, and I'm trying to create a method, and this is private member in this particular code because it is prefixed with double underscore. So max speed here is nothing but private member. Now I want to access this private member outside the class. So how to do that? By just creating a public function. So without disturbing the private member, I'll just create a public function and public variable, and I'll create an object in order to call this particular function. That's it. So moving to the last concept, that is abstraction. So what is abstraction? So abstraction is nothing but hiding all the unused information or hiding all the complex information and showing only the important information. For example, if you want to drive a bike, so what is the main important information that you are required with? You will just concentrate on the key, how to start, the brake, clutch, etc., accelerator, etc., right? So this is the main information you want when you are trying to drive a bike. So what, you'll not be bothering about how the I mean how you a- I mean how the wires are there inside the bike, or how the ECG is working and all. So that's the unused information, right? So similarly, abstraction focuses only on essential features, hiding all the complex implementation details. So how to achieve abstraction? I have already told you. So what is important in these all principles? The definition, how to achieve them, and the example. That's enough. So how to achieve abstraction? It's by creating abstract classes and inheriting them later. So abstract classes is a main concept in abstraction. So by creating abstract classes, you can achieve abstraction. So it helps in managing the complexity and allows high level understanding without needing to know the internal complexities. So we'll just learn about the important features, not the internal or the complex or unused information, right? That is abstraction. Yeah, encapsulation is nothing but it is used to restrict the access of particular variables or methods. So for example, if you see the code, here I have my private member, that is max speed. So I want to access this even outside the class. Actually, private members are not accessible outside the class, right? So how to access this without disturbing this? By using a public function. So similarly, encapsulation concept is used here. So it is just a concept that restrict the direct access to object data. So direct access will not be there, but indirect access will be there. Like I'll be creating an object, I'll be creating a function, and I'll be using this object to call my function. So this is the indirect access. So this is nothing but encapsulation. So coming to abstraction, I hope you're clear with this concept of this abstraction. It focuses only on the main features or the important features that are required. And it will hide all the complex features or the internal complexities. So it is achieved by using abstract classes. So let me code the abstract classes. Yeah, before knowing abstract classes, you have to know what is abstract method. So first I'll be writing the code for abstract method. Try to understand. So from ABC, import ABC. And what is this capital ABC is nothing but the abstract method. I'm considering abstract method. Now let me write class. I'll be start, yeah, class payment. I'll be writing this. What is the abstract method here? ABC, right? Indentation. Now I'll write abstract method. Abstract. So what is the syntax to write abstract method? At the rate abstract method, and you will just write the abstract method in the new line. Define payment self, comma. So I want amount. Now I don't want to write any code, so I'll just pass it, and I'll create another class for my credit card. My credit card payment. And what is the class that you have to actually call here is payment, right? That will be the parent class or the super class. So I'll just define the payment. Now I'll just print something like credit card payment amount. So now I'll be taking another class for writing my mobile wallet payment. Observe the syntax of this class name. So each new word must start with a capital letter. And again, this mobile wallet payment is also inheriting the properties from payment, that is parent class. So define payment, self, and amount. I'll just again print something like mobile wallet payment. I'll take this amount. Now how to call these all? By using object, right? So object name is equal to, for both child classes we have to create. Before for dog and cat we have created, right? So for both credit card payment and mobile wallet payment. So credit card payment, I'll just use dot notation in order to access this particular amount. So what is the amount? Sub to our wish we can write 100. And another object for mobile wallet. So object name is equal to class name followed by the arguments if there are any. Now to access object dot payment of, let me consider 300. Yeah, so observe the output. So credit card payment and mobile wallet payment. How to, yeah, how we are printing this particular both payments by using this particular abstract method. So here you can actually achieve abstraction concept. So what is the abstract method here? It's payment, right? And coming to abstract class, don't worry, I'll share the attendance link. Coming to abstract class, so how to create abstract class, that is from ABC, I'll import some abstract method. Abstract method. Now let me write abstract class. So this is abstract class example. And what is the method here? ABC, right? Now in abstract class, we need to write abstract methods. Abstract method. So what is the syntax for abstract method? That is @abstract method and diff. So something like doing some calculation and I don't want to write any code. So coming to another function, that is another subclass in abstract class. So you have to inherit the abstract class, right? Now again I'm writing the method, self and indentation. So here I need to use super function in order to call this method which is there in abstract class. I've taken only single row. So yeah, something. And I'll print something like subclass is doing something. So how to access these? By using object. So X will be my object. So object name is equal to, so for child class we have to create an object, right? So another subclass. And how to access this? By using dot notation. Dot, what is the method name? Do something, right? I hope you're clear with this. So subclass is doing something. So this is how you create abstract class. And coming to the last thing, that is super function. So super function is nothing but it allows us to access the methods and variables from parent class. So this is the main thing. Actually, this must be covered in inheritance concept. And this will be the last concept for today. After this, I'll be sharing the attendance link. Don't worry about that. So what is super function? Super function is nothing but it allows us to access the properties and methods which are there in parent class. So for example, so I'll be taking a parent class, that is parent, class parent, and diff. I hope I have explained you what is in it. Just to initialize the object. So self dot name is name, and now I'll take another method that is greet. Don't want to take any arguments here, and I'll just print. So in order to print, I'll be using some function. In order to initialize, I'll be using init method. Don't get confused here. So hello comma name, that is self dot name. So this is my parent class. Coming to next thing, I'll create a child class, that is child. So how to inherit? I have to use the base class name after the derived class, right? So diff underscore underscore init. So now I want self, name, and I want age in my child class. Now this is the function. So super function. So what is the syntax? Super function, and you will just write the main, and you will just write the function which is there in your parent class of name. So self dot age will be age. So how to print these both? By writing another method, that is greet. Now I want the name which is there in parent class. So I'll be using super. Super in order to get the greet method which is there in parent class. So super dot greet. So what is this greet here which is there in parent class? And I want to print something like I am, my ages, self dot age, right? And how to call all this? By creating an object. Let me create an object C, and for what we have to create the object for the child class, right? And what will be the name? So this particular name is the first argument, and the age will be 2. So how to call this? Child dot greet by dot notation, right? Child. So yeah, I'm sorry, it's C dot greet because the object name is C. Yes. So hello name. So this name is from the parent class. So how to access that? By using super function. That's it. I hope you're clear with this entire concept. Let me share the attendance form. You're very excited about attendance, right? Not about the concept. It's open till tomorrow's class. Don't worry about attendance. Just concentrate on concepts. I hope you're clear with all the 4 principles and the super function. And for tomorrow's class, we'll be discussing about the exception concept. For now, there are no projects. Just do the homework, that is practice, practice, and practice. That's it. Practice all the examples related to all the 4 principles and the super function. That's it. So if you want more detailed notes, you can actually grab the opportunity. We have launched a bundle. I hope the link will be there in the description box. Just wait for a minute. There's some issue with this form. Try this form. I hope this will work. It's day 4 attendance, right? I hope this should work. Yeah. Thank you. So let's meet in tomorrow's class and we'll be discussing about exceptions. So do like, share, and subscribe to Code Sprint so that you'll not miss the interesting content. And don't worry about your certification, you'll be getting your certification. So thank you and good night, guys. Take care.